We are back with a midweek update and a couple of important pivots from yesterday's core. We moved off Drake May and are anchoring quarterback with Lamar Jackson at 6,700. The why is straightforward. Dash rank 100, projected 23, and he draws the Jets, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 26. Ownership sits around 15.9%, so we are not eating massive chalk, and his 21 fantasy points per game with recent 26, 17, and 7 shows, ceiling remains intact. We are monitoring the ankle headlines, though. Multiple reports, including The Athletic's Jeff Zrebic, note he missed Wednesday's practice for the second straight week with an ankle. Status is probable, and midweek DNPs have not materially changed his Sunday usage for Baltimore, but we will confirm Friday practice. We prefer Lamar's dual threat ceiling and matchup to yesterday's May play at similar salary. For a salary saver at quarterback, we keep Tyrod Taylor on the sheet at 4,300. He gets Baltimore, who have one of the worst defenses overall, with an opponent rank of 24. Projected 14 at just 0.83% owned makes him a true leverage dart. Newsflow supports the role shift with ESPN and team reports, noting he has taken over QB1 after the benching of Justin Fields. The projection is less reliable, given recent role changes and recent fantasy lines of zeros, so we limit exposure to large field builds where the savings unlock premium stacks. Running back is a pivot from yesterday's Jahmyr Gibbs spend to Derrick Henry at 7,600. Dash rank 100, projected 17, and he draws the Jets, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 26. Ownership is modest at 10.9%. Recent form is solid at 23, 11, and 16. And we like the touch count outlook as Baltimore's early downhammer with premium goal line equity. There is a narrative angle too. Essentially, Sports reported Henry talking about retirement plans while chasing one more goal with the Ravens, and his usage has reflected that chase in high leverage spots. With the matchup and sub 12% ownership, he fits balanced and stars and scrubs builds. At wide receiver, we are upgrading Jameson Williams at 5,700 into core status. Dash rank 100, projected 13, and he faces the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 29. Ownership around 13% is fair for his ceiling, and the recent production of 20, 27, and 17 backs the play. We saw the news cycle after Dan Campbell put him on notice for the touchdown celebration penalty, but there has been no indication of a roll cut, and Detroit continues to feature his downfield explosiveness. We are here for efficient splash plays in a soft matchup at a mid-tier salary. Tight end is a pivot up to Travis Kelce at 5,000. Dash rank 100, projected 13, and he draws the Colts, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 15. Ownership near 13.87% is reasonable for a player averaging 14 fantasy points per game with recent 24, 13, and 22. The news is noise adjacent, but reinforces his centrality and leadership. Chiefs media highlighted his "My Cause My Cleats" push this week, and he voiced frustration about officiating after Denver, but the on-field role remains alpha. Price is friendly for Kelce, and we are taking it. Our flex today is Travis Etienne Jr. at 5,900, but this is a news-driven hold. Dash rank 100, projected 14, and he draws the Cardinals, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 17. He is currently questionable and sitting at 0% ownership, which is exactly the leverage we want if active, given steady recent outputs of 19, 16, and 17 and 15 per game on the season. Recent coverage has grouped him with Rashad White as performing at a high level this year. We are slotting him at flex to maximize late swap options. If we get negative news, we will pivot to a similarly priced piece or rotate Henry into the flex. Defense shifts to the Packers at 3,600. projected 8, with recent scores of 7, 6, and 4, and an ownership of 5.47%. They draw Minnesota, who have one of the worst defenses overall, with an opponent rank of 29. We like the divisional familiarity, green light for pressure, and a fair price point that fits, builds without sacrificing ceiling elsewhere. On values, here is how we are treating the pool midweek. At RB, Jacob Sailors at $4,000 is a pure punt only if Detroit confirms he is active with a role. He gets the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall, with an opponent rank of 29. He has zeros across recent games and no ownership data, so this is only for large field leverage and salary relief when you are stacking Detroit. At WR, Darius Cooper at 3,000 faces Dallas, who have one of the worst defenses overall, with an opponent rank of 31. He carries zero recent production and no projected points, so we would only click him if Friday practice reports indicate a surprise roll bump. This is last piece, MME only. At TE, Cole Kmet at 2,500 is our preferred punt. Projected 4 with 10, 2, and 2 in the last 3, and just 0.5% ownership. He draws Pittsburgh, who have one of the worst defenses overall, with an opponent rank of 25. He has steady short area usage and the Sirius XM spot this week, highlighting Caleb Williams' progress under Ben Johnson, supports continued chain moving routes and red zone looks. This is how we get to the studs without tanking median projection. For a value flex holdover from yesterday, Xavier Gipson remains MME only at 3,000 with 0% ownership, but we are downgrading him after the news. He was released by the Jets this week, so this only stays on the radar if he signs and is confirmed active with snaps. If there is no clear role by lock, we remove him from the pool. If you need a defensive punt, the Titans at 2,300 project 5, with recent 5, 20, and -1, and just 2.4% ownership. They face Seattle, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 12. This is a salary play where you are betting on volatility and a couple of drive-killing sacks at min price to jam in upside elsewhere. To summarize the changes from yesterday, we pivoted off Drake May to Lamar Jackson because the opponent rank is better, the projection is similar, ownership is manageable, and the rushing ceiling is slate-breaking. We moved from Jahmyr Gibbs to Derrick Henry for salary structure and matchup, preserving ceiling while trimming ownership. We upgraded Jameson Williams to core with continued big play form and a soft opponent rank. We shifted tight end dollars to Travis Kelce because the price is right for alpha usage. We kept Etienne in the flex, but made it explicitly news-driven to exploit zero ownership if active. We also tightened our value pool by downgrading Xavier Gipson unless he gets a new role, and elevating Cole Kmet as the clean punt. We will circle back after Friday practice reports for Lamar's ankle and Etienne's status. Keep an eye on those updates, and keep flex spots flexible in late games so you can react.